Hey YouTubers, this is Dre from Recovery One Drone. Need to put out a video here with all the recent events and activities. Want to just give a big shout out and big thank you for all of those who participated in the tribute video for Rick Halber, and just showing your appreciation for the man. And it's one thing to sit here and talk about the things that he did for us, but there's one thing he still did for us after his passing. The inspiration behind the big meetup in Florida, which I was unable to attend, I'm out here in California by the way, was things that Rick had done for everyone else in the community. And from all the live streaming from the meetup about a week ago or so, and people able to see one another face to face for the first time, and those be able to meet up with old friends in quite a while, just got me to thinking. And it really solidified itself with a YouTube video I came across just the other day. And I felt for a lot of us who are out here spread across not just the United States but across this globe, that maybe we should do a introduction video of yourself. You know, who you are, what you fly, and things of that nature. And if you have a business like I do, introduce your business and so forth. So a lot of us get to know a little bit more about each other. It was one thing I really liked about the meetup in Florida, that it was not just one particular group or aspect of the drone community. We had the camera drone flyers out there. We had the FPV guys, those who bought the new one from DJI, and those who build their own stuff. Everybody was out there just to have a great time. And that's what it's all about in the long run. Even though I run a business on the side for my drone work, I get enjoyment from flying. And that's why what led me to do this for a business, other than the fact that it's another tool in what I do for a living. So right now, I'm gonna give you an introduction of who I am and a little bit about what I do and my drone involvement. My name is Draymond Crawford. I live out here in San Bernardino, California. My background goes as far back as military, United States Marine. For about a decade. I went into law enforcement after that for about another decade, and then I wound up in construction right about the year, I would say 2001, 2002 era. Got into construction. Walking out, you know, from law enforcement construction, big change of events. And like I said, I had to start from ground zero. Start off as a laborer on an asphalt crew, and quickly learning a lot of different things on the heavy equipment, and became an operator in a short span of time. Really enjoyed operating equipment, but like I say, as the economy flipped upside down around for construction, it started as early around 2006, 2007, where the rest of the country felt it around 2008. Found myself, you know, like I say, jobs were slowing up because developers were not spending money. During that time, I did the smart thing. I went back to school, took some classes in reading blueprints, California building code class, concrete inspection class, things of that nature to build my knowledge, because my goal when I got into construction was to eventually become an inspector. So I needed some education on top of my criminal justice degree to enhance my knowledge of what's going on in the industry. So at that point, I was hired by the city of San Bernardino, working in the corporate yard, learning my trades through the sewer crew. I was in charge of graffiti and weed abatement programs for about 5 years, and then I finally got my shot of becoming a construction inspector. My actual field of expert, and I'm not an expert, but my field per se is in NPDS, which stands for National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. And what that all says is that my main concern is in the waterways and streams and ponds that can be affected through construction work throughout the country. My certification is CISIC, which gives me coast to coast here in the United States certification, and in about half a dozen or so foreign countries my certification covers. I also have a status of what we call a QSP, which is a qualified SWIP practitioner, which basically means I can instruct or oversee the installation of what we call BMP, which is nothing more than best management practice. Basically, it's erosion control devices that we put in place on construction jobs or even doing different other projects working near waterways. So that's enough about my business, my 9-to-5 job. Like I say, I looked at drones several years ago. Matter of fact, I can go back as far back as the 80s when my older brother was involved with model aircraft, RC control aircraft. Took an interest then, but I just didn't fall into it because I felt it was just a expensive hobby that, you can have a successful flight, but if you crash on landing, it's unsuccessful. So I just couldn't see the money aspect at that point. Seeing the evolution of from remote control planes to drones, I start seeing the aspects of usage of you having a drone with a camera in construction work. So like I said, I've been following this for a while and finally took the plunge in late, I want to say 2018. I think it was around November, December 2018 that I took the plunge into drones. And I got my Part 107 in 2019, and then actually started soliciting my ability for commercial work sometime around late 2019, early 2020. So I have not been in this game a long time compared to a lot of other people. But like I say, Recovery One drone is something that the name Recovery One has been with me for a while. I used it in another business I had back when I was in law enforcement, when I had a personal protection and investigator business on the side. So I've had that name Recovery One for at least a good 35 years. So I've kept with it because people always ask me what does Recovery One mean. So now I've given you some information of where Recovery One came back. So I just add the name drone to it. Like I say, in my fleet of drones that I have now, I started off with a training drone. I think it was one of the smaller Chinese companies. Flew it in the backyard, learned how to do the box, the figure eight, slow controlling the drone, everything else. But I knew the camera quality was not up to what I wanted. So then my next purchase was the Spark. Very happy with the Spark as far as its ability in picture taking and video, but the battery life I knew was not going to be a benefit for me beyond on construction sites. So from there I moved up to I think I bought my first Phantom. It was a Phantom 2 off of a production company in Hollywood, and used that, which was a whole new learning experience of how to fly, because the early Phantom 2s were not very good with their GPS reliability and basically holding that drone in place. So that's where I really learned how to fly a drone, was using that Phantom 2. From there I went to a Maverick Pro, which I still use to this day on many of my jobs. It is an excellent drone, and you can't go wrong with it. If it be your first drone or just something you use as part of your group, because now you can get use Maverick Pro cheaper than $500. Sorry for the traffic noise. I'm out here on a job site now, just over my shoulder of a commercial building, which I'm about to fly. But continuing on, from there I picked up some more Phantoms. I have a pair of Phantom 3 Pros that I still like to fly. I use those for my own training because of the fact that they don't have any sensors, and that's why I feel you have to be more control of the drone. Teaches you more about being more reliant on visual line of sight and not on sensors and things of that, and that's why I like those Phantom 3 Pros for the most part for my own training. And then I acquired a Maverick 2 Pro was my first, I would say, expensive drone that I purchased. And then I picked up a pair of Phantom 4 Pro Obsidians sometime last year, which is what I use now for primarily for roof inspections. With the battery, the high capacity battery time that you get with those drones, the Mavic 2 Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro, it's just essential, for you to go out and have to fly, 10, 15 acres of property or more, and the amount of time that it takes. Like I said, I just shot a UPS building about a week or two ago. Took a battery and a quarter to shoot it and stuff. It was over 1,000 something steel shots involved in the grid. And like I said, if I would try to shoot that with the Mavic Pro, or worse yet, the Spark, I would probably need it close to 4 to maybe 10 batteries for the Spark to complete something like that. So for me, the drone usage is just a tool, and that's what I use it for. It is just a tool for me to get the job done. I don't get a chance to go out and fly for fun as much as I used to when I was training myself in this area. But like I said, I'm out on jobs, so being timely and not have to spend an inordinate amount of time at a site is beneficial for me. So for my regular job, I may fly anywhere from 6 to 7 sites in a day, and I don't have time to be spending several hours just trying to shoot a orthomosaic or even a orbit of a site, because I got to keep bringing the drone back and forth to switch out batteries. So that is also my concern, is being timely in what I do for a living. And the same thing when I go out to these paid jobs on the side, that I can't really make money if I'm spending 2 or 3 hours on the site, and I could have had another drone that only allows me to spend an hour on the site, because driving to these locations are always factored in, and the amount of money that I'm eventually will have to say comes back to me, because the maintenance of my drones, the maintenance of my vehicle, the mileage, all that kind of stuff, I have to factor in what jobs I go after and so forth. So that's something you want to think about if you're going to this field. So I encourage the rest of those of you in the drone community, do a little I don't want to say self-promoting, but a little self-introspective video. Put it out there in your channel. You can give shout outs to a few folks, because there's some folks I have met in the last year that have encouraged me, who have inspired me, who have helped me move myself as a pilot and move my business forward as part of the drone community. So like I say, I give a shout out to Mel over at 400 AGL, Jim over at Above and Beyond, and those guys out of New York. I always like to give a shout out to even the guys up in Canada, Roger up there, Canadian Drone Hub. You guys may think you're just sitting there talking to each other and having a great time, but I'm sitting there listening, picking up tidbits of all the little things you guys talk about with the drones and everything else, flying in different weather conditions and every little thing, because I never know, as flying, you never know what conditions you may have to fly in. And I say, even though you're the pilot, you have ultimate control, but I may not run to the same conditions that you do. So if I do run into something, I may have at least a little bit of knowledge about what I'm getting into, or what the drone's capable of. Like I said, I fly the Mavic Pro more often than anything else, and after that, I fly my Phantom. So I don't get to take my Spark out anymore hardly. I don't get to take the Phantom 3 Pros out hardly anymore. And like I say, I'm just now getting the Mavic 2 Pro out on a regular basis and everything. So always, I tell folks, sit in on these live streams. I know a lot of this chit chat goes on, but sometimes there are different things that you can glean off the conversation, especially when they're talking about being out flying out in certain conditions, certain locations, as far as being out near water or different things like that people experience. So don't be afraid to listen and take in what is being said. So I've talked enough. This is Dre from Recovery One Drones, Hey, I always say, hang on, enjoy the ride. Please subscribe, and please fly safely. Thank you.